Happy Friday. Welcome, everybody, to the Road to Millions. Andy and Corbin from WagerTalk.com. We are going to do our show today. We'll give you a sneaky play. We got some NHL props. We will give an update for tennis and soccer, and we will absolutely do Bankroll Reset Day. It's a very important Bankroll Reset Day because we want to talk about kind of the roller coaster that we had this week. I've talked about I just wish it could be consistent. This week was a lot of this. So we're going to talk about how to navigate when you hit some highs and you hit some lows all in one week, and it differs from day to day. So we'll talk about that. I will tell you, everybody, Saturday is going to be a huge day for us at Wager Talk. I'm going to have a UFC play that is up right now if you're watching this, but it's going to be a Saturday all sports pack. We're going to throw everything into one pack. So there's going to be a UFC. There's going to be NHL. There's going to be soccer. There's going to be tennis. It is a lot of plays all in one pack. This Friday, not a ton of action going on. We'll probably have some tennis, which we'll get to. But Saturday, buckle up. We got NFL, which I didn't even put in there, but we should just kind of get ready. And we are going to do the Road to Millions show tomorrow morning to get you ready for the playoffs. So tune in for that. We'll get you all set tomorrow morning. So positive vibes from the audience. We got a short show, so just give us a like and tell us something good that you're looking forward to this weekend. What's your best bet? I always love hearing that in the comment section here. So Corbin, let's just get into some actionable info. I'll do the sneaky play of the day. It is this poor Chicago Blackhawks team. Corbin, they are just horrible. Their star is out, so they have no way to score goals, and their team total is 2.5. It's minus 165, which is kind of on that border line about do we play it? I'm going to play it. I think it's worth a sprinkle. I think you can get a unit out of it. So, maybe wager 1.65 units to get one. Under an 8 out of 9. And Corbin, they're not getting to 2 goals, let alone over 2.5. They've scored 1 or fewer in 5 straight games. And here's why playing it today is probably important. They are playing the New York Islanders, who are horrific as well. After this, they go on the road for 4 straight games, and they play good teams. They're going to get walloped, and there's no way you're going to get a good price on this. If they go under tonight against Islanders, there's no chance you're going to get anything below minus 200 with at Vancouver and at Edmonton. So this poor team, without Connor Bedard, is just a fade. They cannot score. Their full games are going under. Their team totals are going under. There is no offense in this game whatsoever. And what's funny is they put him on national TV next week because they wanted to see Connor Bedard. Now he's out. So now it's just going to be this ass kicking on TNT. they're just
Everyone loves watching some of those. So.
It's similar to when Aaron Rodgers went out for the Jets and they already had him locked up to nationally televised games. Instead of Aaron Rodgers, it's Zach Wilson going in there. So I'm going to play the Blackhawks under 2.5 on the team total. I do not have any players to not have a point because it's such a huge card tomorrow and there's only a few games tonight. But 2-0 last night, Corbin, on players to not have a point. It was beautiful. One of our guys got benched in the third period. He played terrible, had a horrific turnover, and they just benched him. So that was a good one. For the stat of the day, we're going to go to the NFL. Rashee Rice, 68 targets in the last 7 games. That's 9.7 per game. Corbin, there's only 8 wide receivers averaging more for the season. So he is in elite company with how many targets that he's been getting. And when you look at who else is wide receiver for the Chiefs, it's kind of hard to...
You can see why. Pretty quickly.
That's exactly right.
I'm shocked it's not Tony that's getting all those targets.
Yeah, right. So he's been great. He's been well over 100 yards the last 2 games. So his receiving total is only 67.5. Seems low. Seems a little bit low against Buffalo with all those injuries. So that's your stat of the day and the sneaky play of the day. Let's do Australian Open first here, Corbin. So first off, I guess just kind of let us know what's going on with the tournament. I know we've had a little bit of rain, and just kind of what you've seen. Have there been any big upsets? Is it going how you expected? What's the update?
Yeah, it's been a bit crazy with all the weather, really. There's all these weather interruptions that none of them I from what I can see, have been forecasted. So they're really coming out of the blue, which are disrupting several games. Round one went quite crazy in one direction in that I think it was the record amount of seed victories. I believe only 2 or 3 seeds went out in the first round, which is quite unheard of considering how deep all these like rankings players at lower levels now normally keeping like some form of keeping it close with the players that are like ranked 30th or 40th. So that was quite kind of crazy. But then it's been a bloodbath since that first round. The seeds have been crashing out like chaos. I think there's only 3 or 4 of the top 10 women's seeds are still in. Loads of big favourites losing. Some of them are not just losing in like close margins, they're actually getting blown out. There was one player I had Davidich Fokina to win 2 sets, and it was like juiced quite a lot. And he won just 1 set. He got smashed by some like unknown player basically. So gonna look at playing a lot more underdogs on the to win a set or plus spread. We hit a really nice one in Blinkova plus 6.5 or plus 7 versus Rybakina. She was one of the favourites for the tournament, and Blinkova ended up actually winning that game, let alone just covering the spread. On the women's side, the only real top players that are still in are Sabalenka and Swiatek. Swiatek
Love
should have.
Sabalenka.
Yeah.
Love Sabalenka. She's
You
the
mentioned
best,
it.
man.
You
She's just
mentioned it last
smashing.
week.
She's smashing their opponents, man.
Yeah. So Swiatek really should have lost her last game against Collins. She was down a double break in the third, but she did manage to come back to win, so she's still going. You mentioned Sabalenka. She's rolling everyone. She's won every game in straight sets. I think she won the last game 6-love, 6-love, so didn't even lose a single game. And then the surprise one is the 16-year-old Mira Andreeva still going. She has a matchup versus Krejcikova, who just cashed one of our plays early this morning. If she wins that, she actually plays Sabalenka in the next round. So that might be a really good spot to get a good price on Sabalenka, because everyone's going to be piling on this 16-year-old if she wins. So that'll be a good spot. On the men's side, it's still the main 3, really. It's still Djokovic, Alcaraz, and Sinner. The first 2 have had some troubles this tournament. Djokovic and Alcaraz have both dropped sets or not played as great. Sinner's rolled through everyone, but he's had weak competition. The one that's impressing me is actually Casper Ruud. He's made big improvements to his game. He's far more aggressive. He's definitely one to watch. I don't think he's going to win it, but I think he can. He's certainly undervalued going into these later stages. So going forward, it's going to be a mix of underdogs on the spread and some favourites mixed in with that, but ones that I really trust, basically.
I from a must watch. Zverev, is that how you pronounce his name?
Zverev, yeah.
Zverev. He's must watch. He's such a basket case. He's a nightmare to bet on, but I don't want to bet against him.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
every point is a circus with him. He's just got a very unlikable face. He's not a likable guy, except he's really good at times. I find him to be really polarizing. What is his deal? Why is he the way he is? He needs a counselor or something, man. He's a mess.
Well, do you know about all this off-court drama that's going on at the minute? That can't be helping the situation at all. Every press conference is about it.
Can you tell everyone what the deal is? It's fine. You can tell everyone what it is.
Yeah, so his ex-wife is like allegations of like assault and all of that against her. It's really weird because this is actually I believe this is the second ex-girlfriend that's alleged the same kind of events. Yeah, that's basically all going on in the background. I believe there's like court proceedings, everything's kind of going on in the background. But I have to say, as I said, he's had this twice like before. He's kind of used to all this drama going on in the
That's
background.
That's not a good thing.
But I'm saying it's probably not affecting him as much as like if it happened to like a Djokovic, then I would be alarmed for the next few games. Whereas it's not so much of an impact now because it's kind of all over the place and it's been going on for so long. But yeah, that can't be helping the situation. I'll say that. So
yeah, it is. I just when I watch him, I'm just like, God, this guy, man. For whatever reason, I just can't stop watching him. So, and then we had
It's
a
because
bet on him.
there's certain players he doesn't have much movability. I'll say he's so tall that he's a bit lanky and a bit. He almost looks clumsy at times. Like if someone plays a good drop shot, he's not the quickest to get up to it. He doesn't play shots himself. It's kind of keep hitting it big and eventually it's going to work out kind of motto. He
Yeah.
has such a good serve that it's hard to bet against someone that holds serve nearly every time. But yeah, he doesn't have that much in the return game at the minute, it seems. So
Well, we're going to talk about our Australian Open bets, but we're still plugging away, and I like the strategy moving forward about taking a look at some of these guys and the men and women that are getting sets or
yeah.
basically kind of betting that the games are going to be close, right? That's kind of the
Yeah,
premise.
it's also that I was saying it to someone the other day. The seeds are massively overpriced this year, like massively. Like before, where we were getting minus 500 to 700, they're now way over like 1100, 1200, and they're closing even more. I think we played Rude versus Purcell a couple of days ago. He was minus 450 on opening, and he actually closed on one book minus 800. That is
Wow.
crazy. But at that point, the spread on Purcell on the other side is like the games are just going up the bigger the price gets. So you're getting more games on the other side. Have to be careful. We just kind of have to monitor it. A similar thing happened in the Women's World Cup. I'm not sure if you remember. Everyone went into the tournament expecting all the big teams to smash all the little teams. They
Yep.
kept it close because the lines were massive on these teams to blow out these teams. They lowered the lines so the overs, everyone started playing unders, but then the whole tournament shifted back to the overs. So we have to just be keep that in mind going forward. We can't just blindly just play underdogs or plus spreads for the rest of the tournament. You kind of have to play it by ear and keep an eye out what's going on with all the lines. So
So yeah, that's the Australian Open. Be prepared for more plays. We're plus units. Love that. So just be ready for a few more plays. I was happy. You said you're glad you laid off. What was it last night?
yeah,
Like there
last
were.
night wouldn't have been great. I liked actually Andreeva to win in two sets, and she came back from a double break 5-1 down in the third. So that was one dodge. There were a couple. I can't remember off the top of my head who they were, but there were a couple of underdogs again. I liked on the spread. A couple won outright. So maybe would have got back to level, slight loss, but yeah, my main play would have been Andreeva. So glad we passed on that.
Let's take a look here at a couple of NHL props that you might be able to look at. I'm looking at Sam Reinhart. He's got a great matchup here tonight. I talked about this on Puck Time. I mean, just look at his shots on goal. It's 2.5. He's flying over this total. The Minnesota Wild suck. They're 26th in goals allowed. They've lost, was it eight out of 10 or 9 out of 11, and the two teams they beat are just terrible. So I like Florida tonight. Myself and Carmine talked about maybe Florida in regulation, but take a look at Sam Reinhart shot on goals. It's a little bit juicy. If you want, look how many goals he's got. This is a guy that scored 8 games in a row. And this is a Wild team that's giving up tons. I think it was 19 goals in the last 4 games. Like
Wow.
they're giving up just ridiculous amounts of goals. So Sam Reinhart is a guy that I would focus on quite a bit. Other than that, there's only 4 games. We talked about the Blackhawks, so that's about
Would you
all I've
rather
got.
take the goal or the points? How do you make the decision? Which one would you pick?
Well, they made it really easy because they gave him 1.5 points, and it's
Okay.
plus 175, and he doesn't normally have multiple points. You can see that
Yeah.
that doesn't happen. So
You're
I would
better off just taking the goal in this
probably just to
situation.
take the goal. Yeah, he's a
At plus
scorer.
money as well, by the looks of it.
Yeah,
So
it's plus 120. So that's how I would recommend going it. But again, tomorrow's slate is fantastic. That's where I'm looking to make some money on that one. So let's talk a little bit of soccer. We only had one play this week in soccer, so
football.
yes. What do you expect for this weekend? Any good spots that we're looking towards?
Yeah, so there's a couple of spots, a couple of things to mention. The players are still away on the international duty, so still Africa Cup of Nations, still Asian Cup. So just be aware of that when you're going into games. There's not many Premier League games. They kind of split the game week into last weekend where they had like 4 or 5 games, and this weekend where they've got 4 or 5 games. One game I'm looking at is the Brentford game. They're getting their main star man Ivan Toney back, who ironically is coming back off a ban for gambling. So he's been gambling on his own
We love him.
team.
We love him. Right
Yeah,
up our alley.
he fits in with us. I wonder if he's been betting on the players not to have shots on goal props. We'll have to ask. But yeah, Brentford are getting him back. He's their source of goals. I expect their form to take a huge upturn here. I'm looking at them on the money line or the draw no bet. They're playing at home. Great matchup for them. I think they could have good success. Looking at Leipzig versus Leverkusen, two teams that have electric offenses. They have so much pace, so much finishing ability, and not great defenses. Historically, all their games have had serious amounts of goals. I believe their last game actually had 5 goals in, so that's one I'm taking a look at. Madrid lost to Atletico Madrid in the week. It's minus 600 for them to win here. I think that's a great parlay piece. They're playing Almeria, who are the worst side in the league by some way, I would say. They are winless in 10. And quite honestly, you could take Madrid -1, -1.5, -2. I think they cruise this weekend in a bounce back spot. They're not gonna lose a game after just losing to their arch rivals. And then the third game is Southampton. They're cruising in the championship. The only things that concern me is they have the early kickoff. Traditionally, I avoid the early kickoff. Avoid it like the plague. I don't know what it is about it, but traditionally in England, all the weird results happen at that time. They have won 6 of their last 7, but away from home, they've actually drawn 4 of their last 5. Their last 6 have all gone under 1.5 goals as well, which is kind of crazy. But they did beat this opposition Swansea 5-0 earlier in the season. I think you could use double chances for a team to win or draw, basically. I think it was around -200, -300. I feel like you could easily use that as a good parlay piece with Madrid or one of the other games that I've mentioned. So they're the spots I'm looking at for this weekend.
Love it, love it. Tomorrow, NHL will probably have one, maybe we'll probably have 2 players to not have a point. So pretty good defensive spots and some tough matchups for guys. So that's what I'll be looking at in NHL. Then UFC, that play will be up. Love it. Had to wait until weigh-ins. A couple people missed weight, but our good friend Jim Malero, he loves the card tomorrow. Loves, loves, loves the card. I think I got one really, really strong spot that I may just stick to one play because I'm so confident in it. I think I may just stick to it. But we'll see. We'll be doing the show Takedown Live, so if you guys want to join us on the YouTube channel Takedown Live, watching the fights live. And
We'll
all
have
of
to
that.
join in to find out Jim's thoughts now if he loves this card.
He does. He's high volume in this card. He's very open about that. He is high volume, so he'll have
And that's
lots of
unusual
action.
for him, so
Yeah, yeah. So
we'll have
and
to see.
we'll get everyone ready for the NFL tomorrow. So, all right, let us do Bankroll Reset Day and drum roll, please. All right, so we're coming off of a winning week, and we go 17-14, but we end up losing minus 1.62 units. So nothing real exciting here to go about. So NFL really hurt us. We go 2-3, and we lose 4.95 units. I'll call it 5 units. NHL was good, 3-2. We had a nice rebound after losing on Tuesday, I believe it was. Soccer 1-0. Tennis 9-7 after a rough day. Golf broke even. UFC, I was really, really happy with UFC, and I have very high hopes now for the rest of the year for how we're attacking UFC. And then we lost a cross-sport parlay. We were able to get that one back in one of our NFL winners. So the one I wanted to talk about, Corbin, was you and I just had a bad night. I think it was
Yeah.
Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we were down damn near 9% for the week, starting Friday. So I lose the NHL play. You drop tennis plays. And so now we're like, oh man, are we starting a losing streak? Do we pull back? So what was your thoughts after that night? Because we didn't get shy. We fired away. And I'm
Yeah.
really, really glad we did because we had a really, really nice bounce back. So We do bad in NFL, we do good in UFC. So we have these ups and downs. So what was your thought process after Tuesday?
I just kind of just trusted the process. Like I looked at the tennis, I made the small adjustments that I already mentioned to win a couple of plays back. Some of the plays that we lost were in really unlucky fashion. One of them we lost on a player to have a set that was like minus 6,500 at one point. She was literally up a break serving for the set and up points. I won't go into all the details, but there were so many plays that were so close that could have easily swung it from what it was to what it could have been. So yeah, just kind of trusting the process, making little adjustments, analyzing what works, what doesn't work, and just kind of building off that, I guess. Being early in the week still, there's always chance to bring it back. There's no need to like rush to make a hasty decision, especially if you feel like you're making the right reads, I guess.
Yeah, I took the loss on Tuesday, and if you guys are playing these, you know that the NHL not to have points. A lot of them are juicy, so one loss is a big deal. What was frustrating about that was I read the game perfectly. I read the game script perfect. I was like, the Seattle Kraken, they're going to get smashed. It's a terrible spot, long road trip, back to back, and they did get smashed. They lost 5-2. Unfortunately, the guy we bet to not have a point scored the first goal of the game, and then he had a late point on a fairly meaningless goal. But I'm with you. It didn't bother me that much because I had a good read on the game. The game went exactly how I thought.
Yeah.
So I wasn't shy to come back and fire away, and that's what we did. And we went 2-0 last night in NHL to give us a winning week in NHL. You know me, I get cautious, I get nervous when we come
He
off of
does.
it's when we come off of a big winning week and then we
Yeah.
drop some unit. That's when I'm like, oh no, are we regressing or is this just a little bump in the road? It turned out it was just a little bump in the road. So we're down 1.62 units this week. But like you said, a couple of those tennis plays, man. Oh, and then we got burned on the rain.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was
Our player was
man.
ahead. He was serving, and they called one rain break as he's serving, so he loses. Like he comes back and he hasn't served for an hour or whatever, and then they serve breaks. The guy serves, and then there's another rain break back on our guy's serve again. It's just yeah, the
That one was
rain,
gross.
the player being up, points serving for the set. It's yeah, it's been a wild week. So
Yeah, that was gross. And then NFL, we just had a bad read on the Browns. The Browns burnt us, and so
yeah,
what can you do? We didn't call it. We didn't handicap it well. We thought that the Browns were going to show up, and Joe Flacco, I mean, just was completely awful. He throws the two pick sixes, and you just like the game's completely over. So
yeah,
I still feel pretty good about the process that we're in. Golf chugging away. We won't know till Sunday about golf, but I feel good about where we're at with everything. So I'm looking forward to a good week. I don't feel the need to pull back on anything. So we're going to go to our chart here, and obviously nothing too crazy here. So if you guys don't have your bankroll spreadsheet, I'll put that link in the pinned comment here. And so we're up to 1,683. We started with 1,000, so we're up pretty good there, almost 70%. We lose 1%, and so you just multiply 1.61 times 16.83. Now we end up with 1656, so we'll reset our units. So 1 unit this week is 1656. Again, if you got your spreadsheet, make sure you're adjusting your units, your units to whatever your bets are. If you're just following ours, it should be pretty easy to follow along, but make sure you're including everything. Somebody reached out to me with a question. They it's a bad feeling. They started and like their first week was terrible. So he was like, "What do we do? What do I do if I just started with $500 and I had a bad week to start?" It's your money. You can put money in. Like this system is not putting money in. You can absolutely put money in. I mean, for your retirement account, you're always putting money in. For investments,
yeah,
you're constantly putting money in. If you're gonna put money in, I would just add it to your total bankroll and make a little note. So like For example, if you start first off, if you started with $500 and you had a bad week, just start over. Like it's not that big of a
Well,
deal. It's
there's
your
no need to
money.
panic after 1 week either. Like you could easily I wouldn't rush to judge or change or do anything after 1 week. I'd at least wait 3, 4, 5 weeks just to see. What's to say you're not going to have a week next week and make it back and then some? It's kind of 1 week's never a good way to gauge any kind of anything. So
No, I think he was at least what I inferred was this is my bankroll at its smallest. Like if you start with $1,000 and need to get up to like 5,000 and you have one bad week, that's probably harder to add money to it. I inferred that he was like, can I just add money to it and start over after this week? And yes, of course, it's your
yeah,
money. You can do whatever. So if you are gonna just add your own money, like let's say we wanted to add $500 into this week. Well, I would just put like a little thing here that just said like add 500 and then just add it to your total and just keep track of it that way. So if you just add 500, was that 21? And that way you know when you added money to your final
yeah,
bankroll, and you can just move on from there. So for the purposes of this, we're not adding money to it, but absolutely, if you're treating this like I am and you're treating it like a stock portfolio, absolutely add money to it. Yeah, there's no law or rule that says says you can't add money to it.
yeah,
Add money whenever you want to. So our biggest thing that I'd say is just do whatever you can to not pull money out. You
yeah.
pull money out, it just takes months off of your end goal for the bankroll. So that is Bankroll Reset Day. Like I said, have very very high hopes for this next week. So let's see. So we kind of look at what we've done this year. So first week we had a good week, lost a little bit, and we're looking to really rebound it. And we'll do a January reset to see where we end up with at the end of the first month. So. Bummer, Corbin. I looked. We're like not on the leaderboard for last 365 days, and we're 2 freaking units behind. Number 3.
Oh,
It's the worst. It's the worst.
we'll get there. Trust the
When we're
process.
yeah, yeah. When they show the top 3 on the WagerTalk leaderboard, and when you're number 4 and you're like right behind it, you're just like,
Yeah, can't they just add like an extra? Just add one more row. Just add that one little more row.
or just a picture of like us. We're like, don't forget about us. We're
Yeah, we're just like creeping
honorable
in the
mention.
corner. You know what? You should reply next time they tweet it. You should reply with that little picture of you like creeping in. That would be
I should. I could
that
easily
would be
superpose. Hey.
that would be great.
Only 1.3 units behind number 3. Because it is. It's like if you're number 3, you're like right there on the leaderboard. It's great. But if you're number 4, like no record. Like just
Yeah, we don't
so-
exist.
Yeah, it's exactly right. So all right, guys, that is going to do it for us. Don't forget to just grab that Saturday All Sports Pack. We don't have any great promo codes or anything going right now. I know a lot of you got the 30-day pass, so we're still locked into that. But if you're interested in a big day of sports, I would grab that one. Like I said, UFC is up right now. Tomorrow we will be adding everything, so that's going to end up being a dynamite Saturday pack with all the plays that we have in there. So.
Yeah.
All right, Corbin, anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right, guys. Well, let's get ready for a big weekend. NFL playoffs. We got UFC, NHL, soccer, and tennis. So it should be a really good weekend of units. Good luck on your plays. We're going to be doing our NFL show tomorrow. So get ready for that Saturday morning, which you're ready for the NFL playoffs, and I will record the UFC video and get that up a little bit later this evening. So good luck on your plays. We'll see everyone tomorrow on the Road to Millions.
Good luck.